Good evening, everybody, and happy Monday. Welcome back to another fun week here on the Basement Show with Mr. Knast. I am Mr. Knast. Joining me tonight is Mr.
Ron, how you doing,
Dada.
everybody?
Nice to see you.
Yep,
Good,
good to see you, man.
good evening, Curtis. Already in the chat, ready to go. Look at that. Nice,
Nice.
nice to see you, Curtis. Hope all is well. Hope you had a good Monday.
My new Facebook friend.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Ah, there you
all
go.
the way, all the way from Canada.
Yeah, I guess you're going
Yeah, man.
international.
There you go.
So yeah, I mean, this is Sports Gladiators. We try to talk sports every Monday night. Gets a little haywire sometimes, especially this time of year when there's not really much going on. But the show must go on. We're here. We're live. We're going to have some fun.
Absolutely, without a doubt.
And Curtis says you have a Canadian Facebook friend now? Question mark.
I do.
I mean, it's a good one to have if it is who I think it is. So
Yes, indeed.
just don't let him rub off on you. I mean, I need you to stay a Philadelphia fan. You can't switch to like Montreal or something. I mean, if he
I,
wants to teach you hockey, I'm okay with that.
yeah. Might get
But
a little more well versed in the NHL universe.
yeah, just don't let him bring
Although
you to
I,
the dark side.
although I think with a lot of the moves that the Flyers are making and how aggressive they're being these days. I'm looking forward to spending a little more time following the exploits of Keith Jones and Danny Briere to kind of bring this team back to where it needs to be.
Come on, even everyone wants to cheer for the Habs, even you, John. I didn't say I didn't. I just worried that Ron is going to be influenced right away when he starts looking hockey that Canadian teams are far superior than American teams. Wait, that's true.
Okay. Well,
Oh,
here's the way you'll be able to tell. If I come on one week and I'm wearing a toque, then you know that it's time to worry.
with my dictionary, what the hell is a toque? Is that Canadian for Jersey?
It's no, it's a coat,
Okay.
a hooded coat.
Yeah. Because says most Americans are for Canadian. Yeah, he's not lying. Canadian does dominate most of the NHL.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
I gotta give him credit. Curtis Short, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But that's a good place to start, actually, because it sounds like the Flyers are unloading everybody.
Yeah, it certainly looks that way. I mean, some of them they've been successful with, and some not. Um, there's one, and again, I'm hockey deficient, so um, there is one player that they acquired last year, signed to they traded, they got him for some draft picks, and they got him and they signed him to a 2-year, $10 million contract. Now, after 1 year, they're trying to trade him back to his original team
Yep.
and even pick up part of his salary. However, there's a clause in the collective bargaining agreement which is preventing them from doing so.
Yes. And you're talking about Tony DeAngelo.
Yes, correct.
Going back to Carolina, I think it was just draft assets, and they're trying to retain at least 50% of his contract to just strip him off. But like you said, the article I read said the CBA is holding that deal up.
Correct.
And now in a separate deal, I heard that they were trying to trade Kevin Hayes and Travis Sanheim to the
Yes.
St. Louis Blues for a defenseman and some picks, but the defenseman involved does not want to come to Philly.
Tony
Krug.
Glug?
Krug.
Luke? Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
He is a former Boston Bruins defenseman. He used to wear number 47 when he played for the Bruins. So you could see the Flyers Bruins history, and Torrey Krug was a big asset for Boston back in the day. The only
Yeah.
reason he left because he got more money.
Yeah.
He does not want it. He prefers not to play in Philly. So now Philly's trying to find a third team that would jump into this deal, so they can basically trade Hazen. Anaheim to St. Louis. Crew goes that third team, and then the Flyers get back even more assets.
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
another good, like Scott Lawton's probably out of here. Travis Konechny's still being floated around. Carter Hart's definitely getting traded sometime.
Yep.
I mean, it's an implosion at its best. I mean,
Yeah. But I mean, this is really. I think everybody would agree that we pretty much hit rock bottom.
yeah,
So there's no place to go but up. And I think they got the right man in charge. So let's see how it goes.
that is very true. I mean, it's scary to actually see. I mean, because even when the U.S. that were doing a rebuild, they didn't go this far down.
Yeah.
I mean, the Flyers are sinking. They're sinking. They're sinking. I mean, I could make a joke, but I won't. But it's just like I haven't seen this big of a complete rebuild for a Philadelphia team. Probably the Sixers in the process is a good comparison.
Yeah. Yeah. But this one wasn't necessarily as intentional.
Yeah, because you have the key veteran pieces, they just couldn't mesh well together. So then you have
Mhm.
front office starting with Paul Holmgren. So you're going back three GMs now to
Yeah.
Paul Holmgren signing all these long-term contracts, ass contracts at best,
Yeah.
strapping you for many, many years, and now you're trying to crawl your way out of that cap hell to be able to
Right.
start over.
And losing a lot of draft picks in the process.
Oh, absolutely. That and your prospects haven't developed the way they should,
Right. Exactly.
and that's a sin. I mean,
So it's just top to bottom. The organization is in need of a major overhaul. So
now my
that's
one.
that's what's going on now.
Now I have one more hockey question. I'll leave you alone because it deals with why also.
Okay.
Comcast owns the team.
Yes.
Once Ed Snyder passed away, Comcast took over ownership of this team.
Yes.
Do you feel if this doesn't work that they try to sell the team?
No.
So
I
the
think
Philadelphia Flyers will always stay in Philadelphia no matter what, win, lose, box bottom drawers, 5,000 fans in attendance, they stay in Philadelphia no matter what.
yes.
Okay.
This franchise never leaves Philadelphia. Period. End of story. If worst came to worst, and Comcast, which I don't think has any interest in bailing out, um, if they were to turn around and say, look, we're going to sell the team, I believe that there'd be a local ownership group that would keep the team here in Philadelphia, and the league would have a lot to do with that too, because the league doesn't want the cornerstone franchises, if you will, to be shuffling around.
Yeah.
And while certain teams they were okay with it, I just can't see them allowing the Flyers.
Yeah, because I mean, the Flyers were established in 1967, so you figure this coming year you're closing in on. But this is your 56th season. Sure, you're not an original six team, but like you said, Philadelphia has that draw to it that you're a four sport major city. Philly's one of the few cities I know that have five professional teams, with the Eagles,
Mm-hmm.
Flyers, Sixers, Phillies, and you might as well call the Union a professional sports team too, because they play in MLS. Not many cities have that luxury of having that many professional teams in one city.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it was just a question. I'm not trying
Well,
to talk about both sides.
technically, the Union plays in Chester, and that's not in the city. So
Are you trying to show me up, Ron?
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. They're not technically in the city.
Monday night, I have someone I finally like to talk to. Now he voted me like everybody else on this show. Pick on John night!
Ta-da! Yeah.
Okay, the Chester. No, I don't like that. Nope.
No.
Nope. Sorry. Philadelphia Union.
It rolls off the tongue better as the Philadelphia Union, but
Yeah.
you
Okay.
know, it's kind of like they call the New York Giants and the New York Jets when they
Yeah.
actually play in New Jersey. But
Yeah.
hey, it is what it is.
If you ask me, you should call it the Swamp Swampland Jets and Giants. Okay, 'cause that's what
The
it is up
Dallas
there.
Cowboys don't play in Dallas.
Yeah, on well, no problem.
Yeah,
You make a
play in
fair point.
Irving.
Irving or Arlington, so
Yeah, Arlington. They in Arlington now. They were in Irving at one time.
Arlington Cowboys. Kind of sounds
Yeah,
like
no,
Irving Cow. It kind of sounds like Irving Cowboys.
yeah. I don't know. I think they're less of an urban cowboy and more of a Brokeback Mountain in my book.
Oh Lord,
I can't quit you.
I'm in love with you. The fact that we're tying the Brookback Mountain and with the
Yeah,
Dallas Cowboys is actually kind of funny.
there you go.
I will allow it.
Okay, fair enough.
And Curtis agrees that Philly will always be there. So
Yeah, yeah.
and that's coming from a Canadian hockey fan. So if he says it's true, it has to be true.
Well, honestly, I really think that their choice of Keith Jones, part of that choice had to do with restoring the faith of the fans, and and Jonesy is so much respected in the hockey world across the entire league, from his broadcasting, from his player days, from his broadcasting days, and his time on WIP for that matter.
True.
You know, he is very beloved in this city. So if there's anybody who's going to reassure the fans, I think that that's the guy, and that was a good choice to do that.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So I mean, time will tell. I mean, you got the draft coming in a couple weeks. I think it might
Yeah,
actually be this week.
and it's not going to happen overnight. I mean,
No,
that's the thing too. I mean, you got to give him a couple years to kind of start to build it back up again, and then there's still going to be some growing pains along the way.
that is very true.
So it's just a matter of how long the Philadelphia fans are willing to invest. Now that they can see their way out of the bottom of the barrel. It's going to take a while to climb out of
Yeah,
it.
that is very true. I'd give it a window probably the way it's looking now with what they're doing. I would say at minimum 3, maximum maybe 5.
Yeah, 3 to 5 years. I would probably say about the same to really get to that point where they're talked about in the same way they were talked about 10 years ago.
That is true. So yeah, all right. We'll see how that plays out. I mean, like I said, I think the NHL draft is this weekend, so
Yeah.
and I think the Flyers have the 7th overall pick.
And the NHL draft is so tough because you're drafting all kids out of the junior leagues. I mean, for the most part, you had some college players, but for the most part, a lot of these junior teams in Canada are generating a lot of the talent. And now with the international players, I mean, you're scouting players in Russia, Yugoslavia, and you know all kinds of different places.
That is true. Hello, what's up, Prince? Nice to see you. Thank
Hey,
you for
Prince.
popping. Thanks for popping in there. Nice to see you through with
Yes,
an
sir.
aesthetic hello. Yeah, I think that's, I can't really count, but I think that's like 9-0. Like hello. Kind of reminds you of Mrs. Doubtfire. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
But going from over to the Flyers now over to the opposite parking lot, you had the Phillies recently.
Okay.
And why don't you take that from there?
Well, I mean, 2 out of 3 from the Mets, even though yesterday was, you know, totally the Mets imploding on their own. But nonetheless, you know, a win's a win,
Yeah.
in my book. And I mean, 2 out of 3 for the Mets, I'll take it. Uh, without the game they lost was nothing after 9. So it could have went either way. They could have easily swept that series. So, um, and then you go back to, losing 2 to the Braves, but hey, the Braves are definitely the best team in the East right now. I mean,
Yeah.
they're 50-27. They're 13 games over 500. You know, so I mean, they're playing great baseball right now, and you know, it is what it is. But you know, a win is a win is a win.
Very true.
That's what it comes down to. And whether people thought it was a pretty win or not, don't care. It's a win. Nobody looks at the standings at the end of the year and says, "Oh well, 24 of those wins were ugly." So what? It was
Yeah,
24 wins.
that is very true. I mean, the one picture I've been very impressed with as of late is the one we got from the Mets. Tajon Walker seems like he's turned around.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he's pitching pretty good ball right now. I mean, Ranger coming off the injury has been pitching very well. The starting pitching has not been the issue. I mean, the issue, plain and simple, is the offense.
Yeah,
I mean, and a little shaky defense here and there, but for the most part, the bats are inconsistent at best. I mean, the power numbers are extremely concerning because Bryce Harper um, has only hit 3 homers since he's been back.
true.
He just is not going to have. He came back real quick, and he had Tommy John surgery, and he just is starting to drive the ball a little better, but it's starting to get in his own head. His power numbers are not there. He just doesn't have the strength in the arms to, lift the ball high enough. I mean, he's still hitting almost 300. I mean, he's hitting 286. So, I
Yeah,
mean, it's not like he's not hitting, but, you know, the power is a concern because after Schwarber, that's
it's
really
a big drop off.
it's the only power going on right now. I mean, you're going to drop all the way down to you know, majorly down to like Castellanos and maybe Bohm. Uh, but I think they're both in single digits.
Yeah, I
Yes.
mean, the only thing I would say is I read an article saying that Rob Thompson thinks Bryce Harper is pressing. Would you say that's a fair assessment?
He's definitely pressing. Yeah. I mean, you can see it when he drives the ball and it goes to the warning track. He gets extremely frustrated. I mean, he's used to being able to just walk up there and bomb it out of there. And he just physically is not capable right now of doing that. And the more that he presses, the harder it's going to be, to let him build back up. But the problem is that with nobody else picking up the slack, he feels like he has to be the guy.
Yeah, and I could see that being frustrating because like you're supposed to be the face of this team, but you're coming back off a major injury. You came back early, which is incredible, but now you're not producing like you know you can. So yeah, I guess I would be a little bit frustrated. But it's what June 26th. Bryce, you got plenty of time. You, if anything, save that magical run for the end of the season. Even if this team sneaks into the playoffs again, like we did last year, you see what we're capable of doing.
Exactly. You just got to get in, and then anything can happen. So right now, I mean, the Braves are at 50-27. Uh, the Marlins are 6 games out at 45-34. And we have a series against the Marlins coming up right before the All-Star break. So we'll have a 3-game series against the Marlins immediately right before the All-Star break.
Home
And
or
then
away?
I want to say away,
Oh no,
but I'm not positive off the top of my
possible.
head. Yeah. But then the Phils are only 10 games out. I mean, they're 4 games, so they're 4 games behind the Marlins. I mean, it's possible before the All-Star break, you could be, sneaking up towards second place in the division.
True.
So, if the starting pitching continues to be doing okay. I mean, Nola's been, you know, for the most part, pitching better. I mean, Wheeler's Wheeler. He a little rough the other day, but nonetheless, they won.
True.
Um, with Walker and Suarez, and then their the five starter that pitched Sanchez that pitched on Friday night. I mean, the Mets only had 3 hits.
Yeah,
You know,
very impressive. That's for sure.
so Dominguez is on the IL. I mean, that's concerning to a point, but I mean the bullpen. Kimbrel has been decent. I mean,
Soto's been very good.
Soto's been good. I mean that the bullpen has not been horrible, but it's just they're not scoring runs.
Yeah. So you can pick shutout innings if you're not putting up any runs on the board. There's 1-2 nothing losses of what's going to come back and bite you in the ass. And that's what
Yep.
always bit him in the ass because Noah was always that lights out pitcher, but they could never give him any run support. So he was like 9-9, but with a 2 point something ERA.
Yeah.
So
I mean, if you told me 2 months ago that the leading hitter on the team would be Castellanos, I would have said, "What?
yeah,
We're in trouble." Castellanos is batting 317. Stott's next, and he's at 295. So I mean, Castellanos is the only player above 300
true.
right now. Um, you know, Bohm's still leading in RBIs at 47, but Castellanos has 44 and Schwarber has 42. But Schwarber's only batting 180
Oh,
and
God.
batting leadoff.
That's really bad. Sorry.
180. How many 180 hitters hit leadoff?
Not many. They're usually not even in the lineup.
How about none? So I mean,
Unless it's opening. Hey, unless it's opening weekend, the guy starts off very slow.
well,
But this
yeah, well
point,
that's a little different,
but this point of the season, come on.
So now the rumor mill with the trade deadline approaching, obviously there's a lot of rumors churning around. The name that's been coming up more than any other name has been Paul Goldschmidt.
Yes.
The reigning NL MVP from St. Louis. So if St. Louis decides that they're going to start selling, a lot of national media have said that Goldschmidt could possibly land in Philly. There's a couple problems with that. He'll have 2 years, a year and a half left on his contract. Okay. But it's going to be $30 million a year.
Ooh.
Hard to kind of take that on right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Number one. Number two, the grand Bryce Harper to first base experiment was looking to start after the All-Star break. Now, that's nothing written in stone, but that was the intention. And with the, shall we say, shaky defense in left with Schwarber, they probably need to do something about that.
Yeah.
But the question is, what do you do? I mean, you go out and get instead of getting Goldschmidt, you go out and get an outfielder, but they're not going to fix your offensive woes, and you're going to end up taking, if Harper doesn't go to first, you're going to end up taking, Schwarber's home runs. He's the only one hitting homers. You got to take him out of the lineup.
True.
Which doesn't make any sense for a team that's power hungry like we are right now.
No, I agree. I mean, so there's pros and cons like anything that you do in any sport.
Yeah. I mean, it's so I don't think the Goldschmidt thing's going to going to go through. And then everybody else is like, well, starting pitcher. And I'm like, well, I mean, right now, starting pitching is really not our concern. Our concern is the offense.
Yeah,
And if you can grab somebody that can at least, hold their own in left field and, give you some kind of pop, I don't know. But then there's too many moving parts. It's
it's a wait and see type of thing. You're saying?
Yeah, I mean, that's just it. I'll tell you, it's going to be a stressful um, trade deadline because if they make a move, it could upheave the team, and if they don't make a move, the fans are going to flip.
Yeah,
And especially if we're inching closer.
that is true.
If we get to that second place spot in the division, say we sweep the Marlins right before the All-Star break,
Mm-hmm.
then the level of expectation is going to go so much higher than where it is right now, because you're going to eat 3 more games away from that deficit and get that much closer to that second place spot. So I mean, it kind of depends on what happens between now and the All-Star break,
True.
but there's just a lot to consider. And I'll tell you, if Schwarber wasn't hitting, didn't have 42 RBIs and 19 or 20 homers, I
How you'd be on the
I
bench.
wouldn't have I wouldn't have a 182 hitter hitting leadoff.
That's true. I mean, that's why I brought this up to bring up I brought up the schedule, as you can see.
Okay.
You can see what they do have coming up. Like starting tomorrow night, doing Chicago for 3 games.
Right.
Wrigley Field is always tough to play in.
Yeah.
And then
But
you
the Cubs are not necessarily playing great right now, but
they're only 2 games under 500. Just saying that. They're
yeah,
37,
I mean
39.
they're there,
So.
but just the last week or two they've been struggling a little.
Then you have the Nationals for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But then look at this. Then you go down to Tampa Bay first
Yeah,
for a 3 game set, and then you have Miami for a 3 game set. All in
that's gonna
South
be
Florida.
that's gonna be a tough stretch, and especially if it's 95 degrees down there.
Yes. Well, not only that, there are 2 of the worst stadiums in the whole MLB too.
Yeah,
Tampa Bay. I'm not even going to get started on that one. Tampa Bay, St. Peter's, whatever you want to call it, where they play at. That dome is horrible. You
yeah,
got to knock it down and blow it up. But then coming right back after the All Star break, you got 4 against the Padres right away.
yep.
So I mean, that's not even that easy of a stretch. Then you have Milwaukee.
But the Padres are struggling a little bit too, though.
True, but you know that series are going to come in fired up.
Yeah, I mean that's a revenge from the playoffs.
Yes. I mean, this is rare to actually see a doubleheader scheduled like that on the schedule. Like usually you see it for like a rained out day, but to
Yeah,
have it built into the schedule is kind of surprising.
yeah, true.
And the Brewers, then you go to Cleveland, and then you come home versus Baltimore, who's been playing pretty good.
Yep,
Pittsburgh, and then look, then the end of the month you're back in Miami again
yep.
with another 4 game series.
Well, we
Wow.
don't see the Braves again until the end of the season.
Yeah, I do. And the one makeup day from the rain out,
Yeah,
and then a 3 game set right there, and then the following week in Atlanta.
yep,
I think we finished against Atlanta, right? Yeah. Then to finish
yeah,
the season, we're in Queens.
yeah. I don't know if you know this one or not, but very quietly, the Phillies traded when they activated Harper and they sent down Dalton Guthrie, they traded him
Yes,
to
to
San Francisco
the Giants cash
for
considerations.
cash. Yeah.
Now, what does that like? How much? Okay, I've always wondered. Maybe you can shed some light because you're Ron. You're the smartest guy I know. When a team says cash considerations, does that mean they're eating part of his contract, or they're sending us back? Hey, here's a check for $1 million. We'll take this guy off your hands.
Uh, Essentially, that's what it turns into. I mean, it's not, they don't physically write a check, but they say, okay, uh, we're going to pay you this portion of contract
Mm-hmm.
of that player. So it's just another way to say it, but in all practical purposes, they're saying, okay, well, you know, we're going to pay you X amount of dollars for giving us that player that you're going to put towards another player.
True.
So,
Because you always hear like teams joke around saying that they're going to they trade a certain somebody for a bucket of baseballs and a pack of gum.
yeah,
So that tells me that they basically traded for nothing.
a 6-pack and a couple Slim Jims. That's what I always use. Yeah.
Since we're on baseball, real quick, I'm actually going to see if I can find one more small thing. Give me 1 second.
Oh, and the other thing is, um, I don't think the Angels are going to move Otani at the trade deadline. They're actually above 500 right now, and they have a chance. So I think that Trout and Otani are staying put for now.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they wait till maybe after the season to do it. I mean, now that they're actually playing good baseball.
That's possible. In the off season, I think it's possible for them to entertain offers.
All right. Here we go. Can you explain to me how this happens? 25-1.
Yeah, and 13 runs in one inning.
I
It
mean,
that looks like the Bugs Bunny game, like when they're playing and they're dancing around the bases. Dun 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 dun. Dun. They're just scoring.
I don't want to bring this up in case my cousin Kelsey popped in because this game was in Denver.
Yeah,
But my God, 25-1
yeah.
and
28 hits.
23-0 after 4 innings.
Yeah, there should be a mercy rule in MLB.
I just don't get it. I mean, like after a certain point, like what is enough? They say, okay, look, we're done. This game's over. I know an ML game is officially after 5. Can you add a mercy roll?
Well, no, you know what? You really can't, because if you really think about it, how much revenue would be lost? Even though a lot of people probably would leave, after it got to be, 23 to nothing. Um, the people that do stay are still buying beer and buying food, and and that the investment they're making for a day at the ballpark, as a family of 4, you're probably looking at a $700 day, at
Yeah.
minimum. So yeah, I really don't see it ever happening. But anytime you see a score like this, you're like, what's it got to be like to be on that field, at that point,
I, I, that's the hard part. Like you're on this team, you're being paid all this money to show up, but I'm sorry. After 23-0, I'm like, coach, pull me out, take me out of the game. I quit.
Yeah.
Like there has to be like a way that a team can like quietly say, okay, we'll finish this game, but we're done. Like, and we stop playing, keeping score counts as a scrimmage.
It
Like,
sounds like a kid's soccer game where they don't keep score.
but it's just it's hard. I mean, I can't even imagine being a home team fan, being at the stadium to watch this.
Yeah.
Like after 4 innings that my team's losing 23-0. I haven't even got through my first beer yet, and I just watched the team score 13 runs on my team in 3 innings, or in a single inning.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like, if you don't call it a mercy rule, can you at least put a cap on runs in an inning? Maybe they like, hey, 10 run rule limit. You guys are done. Next team up.
It's crazy.
Like Mike Trout, Joey, and Taz hit home runs on consecutive pitches to open up a. So you're talking 3 straight pitches, probably. They hit 3 home runs.
Was that a position player pitching at that point?
No, that was the third inning.
Well, I mean, if it was already 15-0, I don't think it would have took that long for them to try and save some pitchers.
Yeah. And then our buddy Mickey Moniak capped it with a 2-run home run in the third inning.
Yeah, Moniak is kicking some ass out there.
The margin of victory is tied for the third largest in the major since 1900, behind Texas's 30-3 victory against Baltimore in 2007, Boston's 29-4 versus the St. Louis Browns in 1950. So yeah, you're going a ways back for that. But 30-3, I don't remember that game.
Do you remember that Phillies game that was like 23-22 or something like that in Chicago?
Oh yeah,
The Mike Schmidt hit 4 home runs in the game, I think.
Let's see if I can find. I have to see if I can find that while we're talking.
Yeah.
But I think so. Let's see, Phillies.
That was around, I don't know, 77, 78, something around there, maybe.
I found it.
Okay. What year?
They 1 second. It was. Let me see if I can pull up this article. Nope. 78.
Yeah.
50 hits. Phillies top Cubs 23-20. Team's tie record with 11 home runs at Wrigley Field.
Yep.
I'm trying to see if I can get a better picture of the box score.
One guy bunted and it went over the fence.
Oh,
The wind was
what?
blowing out. No, I'm only kidding.
I was gonna say what?
When the wind's blowing out at Wrigley, it's blowing out, man.
That is true. I will completely agree with you on that. See how good this picture is. Hold on. Alright, I'll see if I can present this so you can see it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if anyone else in the chat can, but yeah, there's your box score. 23-22. It was 7-6 after the first, and the Phillies tacked on 8 in the third. Damn. And then
Yeah, that was crazy.
only 1 run in the 8th and 9th inning combined.
Yeah.
And it belonged to the Phillies to break a 22-22 tie.
Yep.
But Smith, what was it? 4 at bats, 3 runs, 2 hits. Damn. Lozinski, Lynch, Bob Boone, Larry Boa, Pete Rose, Tim McCarver pitch hit. Interesting.
Yep.
But yeah, that's going back a ways. And look, time of game, 4 hours and 3 minutes, and the attendance was only 14,952.
Yeah.
Well, how many of those actually were Philly fans that stayed for the whole game? Well, a game like that, it's not like you can leave a good back and forth scoring event.
True. It wasn't like, 23-0.
Yeah. Because there was a game up in Boston, I think, last year that was like that. The Toronto Blue Jays just jumped up on Boston. It was like 20-0 by the end of the fifth.
Yeah.
I just don't feel that a game should continue that bad. Or if it does continue, you stop keeping score. And just turn it into like a varsity versus JV scrimmage where we'll count your stats, but the runs don't count.
Wow.
So when the people read the box score, they don't read astronomical, like 28 to, I don't know. Because the one year I was at the Phillies Rockies game, it was in Philly. It was Memorial Day night. I think it was back in like 2006, 2007. and the Phillies beat them like 22-5.
Wow.
It was a crazy game to be at. A lot of fun to witness it, but after a while, I was like, "Oh my god, is this game gonna be any over anytime soon?" I couldn't imagine sitting for a 30 run game.
That was like that one doubleheader at the vet when it went to like after 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yep, 1993.
Yep.
I think I had MLB doubleheader. I think that was. I know it definitely was the Phillies.
Yeah.
Wow, this doubleheaders. I think the second game didn't end until like 4:43 in the morning.
Yep.
Um,
Now there's rules against it. Now it could
yeah,
never happen again. But
and see if you can test your knowledge. Do you remember who hit the game-winning RBI single for the Phillies that night?
it was a pitcher.
It was.
It was Mitch Williams. Yes. All right.
Post some trivia on Monday night for you.
Nice.
But yeah, I remember watching the end of the year video that year, and knowing that the second game that started at like 1:16 in the morning.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
I
the
wish I
funny
was old
thing
enough.
is, it was because of rain delays and stuff,
Yeah,
and they actually, I know you may not believe me, but I was at the game. A friend of the family had taken us, me and my brother,
wow,
and at some point they actually allowed people to go out onto the tarp and slide around on the tarp, like
that's
dive and
nuts.
yeah, yeah. Because I mean, there was probably only a couple hundred people still left in the stadium.
Damn,
I mean, it was like there was nobody practically. So at some point they said, it's okay for you to go on the field, just don't go near the dugouts and don't go near the outfield fence.
that's crazy.
And there were kids out there everywhere. Whatever kids were there like running and diving into the puddles.
That's fun. Evening,
Yeah,
Gary. Thanks for popping in tonight, sir. 4:41 a.m. That game finally ended.
yeah. I think we made it till like 3.
That had to be so cool. I mean, I'm jealous.
It was interesting for sure. Hey Gary.
93. I had just turned 6 years old.
Okay.
So I don't think I'm allowed to stay up till 4 o'clock in the morning watching a baseball game back then. Nowadays, maybe I'm gonna be retired the next day, but no. I mean, I'd be lucky if I even saw 10 o'clock as a 6-year-old. But I
You know what?
wondered.
That wasn't the '93 game. Then it was another game because I was younger than that.
Okay,
It it had to be one back in the '70s or late mid to late '70s. There was another one that was similar.
let's see. Was it the Padres, or do you remember somebody else?
I don't remember the team honestly,
Well,
but
let's see.
I think I was only about like 14 years old. So
Latest Phillies games in history. Let's see if I can find a list for you.
yeah,
Now you got me curious. I'll have to probably do this as homework for this week and have it next week.
yeah,
I'll do that. I'll look it up next time and
okay, yeah,
have it on Monday.
okay,
That'd be a
sounds
fun
good.
discussion to have.
Yeah, yeah.
But
So yeah, that's the most recent baseball things that I can think of. But I mean, there hasn't been a lot of football news coming out.
no, just a lot of preseason rankings.
Yeah.
Um, One article I saw recently has Jalen Carter as possibly the number one rookie alternating alter possibility to shake up a team. Like a
Okay.
lot of people have high hopes for Jalen Carter around the league.
Mm-hmm.
and I think that he could be a game changer come in Philly. So,
Yeah. Well, how about in 2 years when Micah Parsons comes to Philly?
so you're jumping on that bandwagon now,
He is on that bandwagon. He's
huh?
showing up at Philly sporting events. I mean, he's openly politicking to say when his contract is up, he wants to be in Philly. Period.
Question is, can they afford it?
Yeah, that's true.
Because
That's true.
he's not gonna come cheap.
Yeah, but then again, Kelsey's going to be off the books, which is right now is a $10 million center.
Yeah.
Um, you know, uh, by that time, Fletch is off the books. Um, unfortunately, I don't know if we're going to be able to keep Reddick um, after his contract comes up. It's there's so much can happen between now and then.
Oh
But
yeah, absolutely.
I would not be opposed to plugging Micah Parsons into this defense,
But he's not a
even though
Georgia
he is a
Bulldog.
cowgirl.
And he's not a Georgia Bulldog. He's a Penn State Lion.
Yeah, but and as much as it would pain me to have to root for somebody from Penn State because
Oh, here we go. Here we
you know,
go. When you know, you know.
yep. I mean, you might as well be a Notre Dame guy for that matter.
So I bet you're happy to hear that. Speaking of Notre Dame, I'm just going to throw this out there because I know you don't give two shits. Ian Book is struggling in OTAs.
Yeah,
I'm just saying he's a quarterback we got from the Saints who played for
right.
Notre Dame. I'm just saying.
Well, he's just learning the offense too, though. But he's
Well,
backup quarterback. I mean,
yeah, if you honestly think about it,
if if he even is the backup, I mean, as of right now, it's still unknown.
well, that's what I was gonna say. I wanted you to think about it, like, because I know Miami is the perennial one of the perennial schools when it comes to college football and prospects. I will give you that.
Yes.
I can't, off the top of my head, really, besides for one name that pops in my head automatically, think of the last Notre Dame player who actually did something in the NFL. The only one that comes to mind is Tim
Joe
Brown.
Montana.
Well, around the same time period, Joe Montana, Tim Brown.
Tim Brown. Other than that, you'd be hard pressed.
But when you
They
talk about the
just,
Miami Hurricanes, you can go all day.
yeah, Hall of
So,
Famers.
yes.
Michael Irvin, Edgerrin James, Otis
Devin,
Anderson from the Cardinals, O.J. Anderson,
Devin Hester's a Hall of Famer now, almost.
Hester. Yeah, I mean, there's been quite a few.
So I will give you that Miami has more perennial talent than Notre Dame, Penn State combined.
Vinny Testaverde,
Wait, he went to.
Bernie Kosar.
Yeah, I was gonna say, wait, they went to Miami. I was like, why is he throwing these names out at me?
Yeah,
Because the only quarterback I can think of that did something in the NFL from Penn State was Kerry Collins.
yeah, and he really didn't do that much.
No,
Jim Kelly went to Miami
yeah,
from Buffalo. He's a
yep.
Hall of Famer too.
Yeah, make a point, okay? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
You want me to get down on my knees and say I'm sorry?
Jerome Brown.
Yeah. Another one that was taken too soon, though. Imagine what his career would have been if he
Yeah.
wasn't killed.
Um, the safety, Ed Ed
Ed
uh,
Reed.
Ed Reed. Yeah,
Yep.
The Rock.
Okay. But hey, Bill Goldberg went to Georgia.
Yeah, the Rock was Jerome Brown's backup at Miami at D tackle.
You're right, he was. I forgot about that.
Yep.
It's crazy to think, But I will give you that Miami is the far better, superior college football team producing wide NFL talent than Notre Dame and Penn State. I will say that.
because their style of offense, it just was well suited for the transition, as opposed to, and their defensive schemes as well. They always had good defensive coaching, and they played a very pro style game. So uh, Penn State and Notre Dame were both primarily running teams. I
True.
mean, they were ground, pound and ground and pound. So wasn't necessarily suited to the high flying, gunslinging offenses that were going on at the NFL at the time.
Yeah, but for being a run heavy team, you take away Saquon Barkley. Like, when was the last time you actually had a successful Penn State running back? You're going back a long time.
Yeah,
None of them
yeah,
really translated from the college level to the NFL level. Like, Curtis Warren was supposed to be an all pro running back, didn't Mac out to
yeah,
shit.
yep,
Um, Kajana Carter was a first overall pick by the Cincinnati Bengals. He didn't have much of an NFL career. I mean, it's just like you
yeah.
said,
You'd be hard pressed. Yeah,
like, even the one I was really excited for Philly to get the 1 year. I thought, okay, he can come in. He's not going to be a starter right away, but he can produce over his career. But then he fizzled out. Tony Hunt. I was a huge Tony Hunt fan when he was at Penn State. He got drafted by the Eagles
yeah,
in the fourth round. Came in, didn't do jack shit. He was gone in 2 years. So I mean, it's very like you said, hard pressed to find anybody.
Franco Harris
Yeah, back in the '70s. Okay, I'll give you that.
back in the '70s. But you would have to really go back there to really find contemporary.
Yeah, not like when you go to a school like Miami
Larry,
and you
Larry
got
Johnson, Larry Johnson,
hit or miss. Who
John
else?
Carter,
Like I said, he was
and
a first
Saquon.
overall pick, and
You know,
yeah,
yeah,
John Carter didn't really pan out as much as they thought he was going to, and given the fact of how high he was drafted. So I mean,
yeah,
it's hard, but what are you
true.
gonna do?
Yep.
So I guess I mean you have training camp starting probably about a month from today. So until then, like, hopefully players are working on what they need to do off, like, away from the facility, staying out of trouble, staying healthy, because this is
Yeah.
when you have a lot of those freak accidents happen because of a player trying to press too hard during training, which
Yeah.
you
It's
don't
true.
want.
Yep. And it doesn't sound like there were too many injuries for the Eagles in OTAs. I know that there were a couple teams that lost guys for the season from freak OTA injuries.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, knock on wood, the Eagles have been pretty good the last couple of years also with that. So
Yep.
no, that's metal. My desk is wood. There you go.
Okay.
But yeah, other than that, there's like not much football related stuff going on.
No, well, I got to tell you, I actually heard a clip today that was actually from somebody from ESPN, and and they said they had their pick for the Super Bowl, and they said that you heard it here first:
Oh boy.
Philadelphia Eagles versus the New York Jets in the Super Bowl, and the Jets win.
Can I go find my trash can real quick?
I heard it. I was laughing my ass off. I was like, really? And it
The
wasn't
New
even like a Jets guy. It wasn't a Jets guy. It was just a national commentator on ESPN.
the New York Jets though,
The Jets, the Aaron Rodgers Jets.
they're not the Jets anymore. What don't people understand? They're not the Jets anymore. It's the New York Packers. Get it right.
Yeah. Yep.
That Jets logo is going to turn into a G.
Jets with a G. Yeah.
What? Who the hell was this guy?
I'm trying to remember. It was a former player too. Let me
Please
see
don't
if
tell
I
me.
can find it real quick.
Please don't tell me Ryan Clark.
No, it wasn't Ryan Clark.
There's so many players. I'm trying to think who would be dumb enough to say something like that. Marcus Spears won it. Uh, Nair Dikovic won it. Who else is on there? There's so many players nowadays working for ESPN. I can't even keep track. Hmm. Put on some background music while I'm figuring that out. Let's see. Here we go. Oh, you go. There you go.
There you go.
My best Jeopardy impersonation. Do, 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 do.
I mean, almost everybody is saying Eagles Chiefs rematch. I mean, there's a lot of that out there.
Yeah, with the Eagles coming out on top this time compared to last year.
Yeah.
Fucking 3rd and 6. Son of a bitch.
Yeah, I wish I could remember. I meant to write it down because I knew I wanted to talk about it tonight, but
Well, whoever it is, you're an ass clan, and if you say the Jets are going to the Super Bowl, you should be fired on the spot. Oh, I'm sorry.
or at
Did I?
least drug tested, one or the other.
Something. That's like if people saying that the NFL is fixed because they released that there was going to be the Bengals and the Dallas Cowboys in the Super Bowl and Cincinnati winning.
Yeah.
That's what the Wikipedia said. So I had come out and said, well, if that truly happens, A, the NFL is rigged, and B, I'm boycotting because I don't want to watch the Cowboys Super Bowl.
Well, you know that anybody can modify a Wikipedia page, right?
Yeah,
Like I could go on to a Eagles Wikipedia page and change it.
true.
So, even though you see some crazy stuff sometimes, it's sometimes just somebody, playing a joke or trying to be funny.
Yeah, well, that's a sick person trying to be funny, and they might need to get checked out.
Oh, and they must be deranged if they're picking Dallas to be in the Super Bowl.
They make the playoffs, but they can't get past the second round.
No, not since the 90s.
Yeah, back when VHS was still popular, is the last time you
Yeah,
can
1993, I believe.
96.
96. That's right, 96.
Because I told you the story behind that one before.
Right, you knew the date, right? Yeah.
'Cause I got a really John from Sheldon in the chat. I was actually just talking with Sheldon a couple of days ago. I told him I hope
Okay.
everything is well. Missing him in the show, so hopefully now we're getting back into football season. We start seeing him pop in a little bit.
Okay.
So
Cool.
Eric Carlson just won the newest trophy in the NHL, best defenseman in the NHL. I guess the awards is
Yeah.
tonight.
Okay.
It becomes the sixth player to win the award 3 times. I forgot he got traded to San Jose. But
Nice.
no, that's all I pretty much got. Unless you got some wacky sports news to talk about.
Nothing that comes to mind right off the top of my head.
No, I mean we had said before the show it might be a shorter night because this time of year, unless you're watching like MLB every single day, writing down stats for 30 teams, 162 games.
Yeah.
NBA just the draft just happened. Sixers had no picks
Right.
to talk about.
Well, I mean, a couple things in the NBA right now is obviously the James Harden saga.
Yeah,
Um, Seeing where that's going to land. Um, at this point, it's looking more and more likely that he may end up back in Philly.
I think Nick Nurse wants him in Philly. That's why.
I think that they, uh, I think they want to try and unload Tobias Harris, but nobody wants him. But it turns out that Tobias Harris's agent is his father.
Yeah, and that's a situation that just got brought up this week. So the Sixers are
Right.
misusing him.
because the elder Harris came out and basically compared. He called him a, what was it? A not a samurai scorer, a ninja scorer, or something
Assassin?
along assassin. Yes, an assassin, and that compared him to Larry Bird in talent level.
No, 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 no. You don't do that.
So he basically said it started to talk about analytics and then said there's only been 4 players in NBA history that were 90, 90, 50, 40. And he said it was Elgin Baylor and Larry Bird and somebody else. And then he stopped because Tobias isn't necessarily in that group, but
Mm-hmm.
he's little bit outside of that group. But for some reason, he decided that the analytics of being somewhere in the neighborhood were the same as being Larry Bird.
I don't see it.
No, not at all.
Saying that he's been misused in Philly. They don't leave him in the corner where he's known as a corner shot. I mean,
You know how many points he had in Game 6? Two, two, two,
yeah.
two.
I remember when they got him there. He was supposed to come over and be a 2010 guy every single night.
Yeah. Well,
Talk about fizzling out.
unfortunately, they only play with one ball at a time.
And that's where Phoenix is going to have a problem next year.
Yeah.
Like we had talked last week with Andrew for a couple minutes. Like I thought about it more and more last week. I do not know how that team's going to function with Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, and Kevin Durant all in the same lineup on the floor at the same time.
Yep.
I don't see it working. I think it's a mistake to try to put that many people in one team. Just like now, they're
Mm-hmm.
saying that LeBron is possibly leaving LA, the Lakers, and he might wind up in Dallas with Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic. How the hell is that even going to work?
Well, the more interesting thing is something that we've talked about before. It looks like Damian Lillard is heading to Miami with Jimmy Butler.
Yeah. See, but then that only gives you two stars on a team. That's different than loading the team up with three or four.
Right, but that may be the piece that Butler needs to make that team get over the hump.
Hey, if it is, more power to him. I mean, you like Jimmy Butler. I don't have a problem with him. I had to go with Denver this time because of family. That's how
Yep,
I was.
gotcha.
But if Jimmy Butler were to win next year, I'd be just as happy. I
Yep.
mean, hardworking player shows up every game, makes some incredible shots,
Yeah,
makes the shots
definitely.
when they count.
Yeah. Most importantly.
So I mean, kudos to a team like Miami if they can pull it at all.
Yeah. Yep. And
Because
it doesn't cost them an arm and a leg to do it.
yeah, because some of these other trades that you see happen, like the final details on that Bradley Beal trade was sickening. Okay,
Yeah.
Bradley Beal goes to the Phoenix Suns. It was Chris Paul and one other player, but then a total of 10 draft picks.
Wow.
Washington got 6 second-round picks and 4 first-round picks
That's insane.
as part of that deal.
That's insane.
How is it like? How do you even make something like that like up in paperwork?
Well, see, we little by little mortgage our future until we have no picks, but they did it all in one trade.
I was just blown away and astonished. 10 total picks involved. I was like, wait, what?
I think it's the first time in history that I remember the Sixers going into a draft and having no picks.
Yeah, not even a second-round pick.
Nope.
And I think they only signed maybe one or two players undrafted wise.
Yep.
I guess they're
They're
really relying heavily on developing this Delaware Blue Coats team, and the 1 2 players they did add, they're going to add to that. Then they might go out and get another 5 place free agent again. Who knows?
And the kid that won the dunk contest, I
Max
think. Yeah.
Mac McGunn.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't want to. As another a player run GM wise with Elton Brand, and I give him another 1 or 2 years, and then if it doesn't work, you got to change it. I'm sorry.
Yep.
I mean, I'm bummed out enough as it is that they didn't even offer Sam Cassell a place to stay on this coaching staff, and now he's up in Boston with Tatum and Jalen Brown, and they just
Yep.
got Kristaps Porzingis. Granted, they traded Marcus Smart away, but like to get someone like Porzingis to go with Tatum and Brown is great.
Yeah. It's going to make them tough.
They're tough no matter what. They're excellent coach.
Yeah.
They're young. They're fast. They're physical. I mean,
Yep.
because then the six,
Everything that the Sixers aren't right now.
yeah, and then the former Celtics, yeah, he played for the Boston Celtics and then Oklahoma City Thunder for a couple years. Kendrick Perkins came out and said today, if the Sixers don't win this year with Joel Embiid, is it time to move on from Embiid? What do you think?
That's a lot of people are saying that. I don't know that until Embiid asks out, I don't see them voluntarily taking him out.
Because that's a hefty contract to move.
Yeah. So I mean, but there's teams right now that would take him in a second,
Oh, absolutely, hands down.
and the Knicks are one. I mean, and that team is run by his ex agent, is the general manager.
Oh boy.
So there's already a relationship there.
Okay, but if you ask me, I mean, you already broken that forbidden door of trading Ben Simmons to a division rival. Granted, Ben Simmons and Embiid are completely different. I'm not saying they're the same at all.
Thank God.
But if you ask me, that's a no-no. You do not. If you do trade him, he does not stay in this division.
Yeah, I want to trade him to the Western Conference so I don't have to see him.
Yeah, because if you trade him in the division, he's going to come back and kick your ass every single time. You're going to say, why did we get rid of him?
Mm-hmm.
At least
I
if he
agree.
goes to a Western Conference team, we only see him one time a year, and that'd be in the finals. And then if he beats us, different story.
Yeah.
But you trade him to a team like the Knicks, the Nets, Celtics, like that, he's going to hold that against you, and he's going to come back with a vengeance.
Yeah. Like I said, it depends on whether he asks out or if the team trades him.
Well, I think he has a no trade.
There's a big difference between the two. He does not have a no trade clause. But in the NBA, in essence, because of the power of the players, they pretty much get to call where they want to go.
True.
Just because that's the capability they have.
Yeah. I mean, if you trade him, you better be getting back a King's ransom for him.
Yeah, for sure.
Because even if you trade him after this year, he's only going to be 30 years old. Granted, he has some tread on the tires. His knees aren't what everyday score would be, but he is still top elite, top 5% in this NBA.
Mm-hmm.
So you better get some damn good shit back for him if you're going to unload him.
I agree.
Because if not, we're going to be looking like the Flyers in 2-3 years again and picking bodies up from the floor when we're trying to do a rebuild.
Yeah.
So, time will tell. I mean,
Yeah.
we just started NBA offseason. Now you have the summer league starting in a couple of weeks. That's actually kind of entertaining to watch. Seeing some of these young guys fly around the court in gym shorts, showing off what they got. Because some of them do play at the summer league, and you're like blown away with like the talent wise. So,
yep.
I'm curious to see how it all plays out.
PJ Tucker will be like 112, and he'll still be playing for the Sixers.
Oh God.
And that might only be in a couple years. I don't know. He might already be up there.
Yeah, I mean, he's another one that's going to be a wait and see because they don't know if he's even going to come back. He might just say, hey, I'm going to call it quits. And boy,
Yeah,
that's the last 2 years of that contract.
yeah, it's possible.
I mean, then like you said, they're trying to swing out Tobias Harris. You don't know if that comes to foresight. James Harden thinks a big thing still right now. But
Hmm.
honestly, I don't want him back in Philly because I think it hurts Maxi's growth.
I agree.
But you need a superstar caliber type player sometimes. You need another piece with Embiid and Maxi.
And
Yeah,
the word is that Embiid wants Harden there for one more year at least.
yeah, okay.
So
1 year,
just
okay.
because he doesn't want to have to be the only guy,
Yeah, well,
and he's not the kind of guy who's going to take Maxi under his wing, like Harden does on occasion.
true.
Not all the time, but
Yeah, but
I think he'd probably learn more from Tucker.
if you're bringing Harden back for a 1 year deal, I'd be okay with that. But I'm not giving him a max 4 year, $208 million deal.
No, but I don't think he'll take a 1 year deal either. I think you got to give him a minimum of two, and you probably got to give him 30 a
At
year,
least. Because
at least 30 a year to even
it,
you know be in the ballpark. So just don't pay him 50.
because what do you get this year? I think he made 33.9 this year.
Yeah, which a
I,
max deal would be creeping up on 40, 45,
yeah, at least.
maybe 50.
Well, let's see. Where's my calculator? So we said 208 million for 4 years, right?
Yep,
Oh, my button. 208.
42.
I think you're right. No, 52.
No, 52. Right.
$52 million a season if you were to give him a max deal.
Can't do it.
No, just between him and Embiid alone, that's over almost $100 million in salary for two players.
Right. Who scored just barely that many points in game 6 and game 7.
Yeah, you gotta bring that up every time, don't you?
Hey, I'm just saying, yeah.
John,
They
that's why
they
I love you.
disappeared. They disappeared when it counted.
That's why I love you, Ron. You state the facts and you put me in my place. Like everybody else on this show does. Pick on Mr. Nast. He's the host.
No, no, never.
I don't know. I think it sounds kind of entertaining to do that. I agree.
That's what
But,
Tuesday night's for.
yeah, well, don't even get me started on Tuesday night because I'm not even a part of that show anymore.
Yeah, but we should talk about what's coming up for the rest of the week because we got some exciting stuff going on, and maybe a surprise or two.
Well, the surprise stays under wraps. That's all I'll say about that.
Right.
But tomorrow night is the beginning of a new era for entertainment night. I won't be seen on camera anymore. I've been thrown off the show. Uh, and being replaced by Miss Morgan and Miss Shannon. I don't know what they're planning. Hopefully, they're planning something good because it's their show now. I will be the Triple H of that show. I will be running the show from behind and off camera. So make sure to pop in and show them all the love and support because they are great people. They're great assets to this team, and I'm excited to see what they come up with for sure. And then Wednesday is Ron's show. Go ahead, you can explain that one.
Well, Wednesday night's TNT, which is television and trivia. So we'll be doing some entertainment trivia, um, primarily either television or movies. But you never know where it's going to go. It depends on the chat. It depends on a lot of different things. So, but we're trying to kind of form the the direction for the show. We've really only done it 2 weeks so far. So we're going to have some fun with it and see where it goes.
And then Thursday night is open mic night, where we talk about anything pretty much that goes in the chat wants to talk about. You guys are always welcome to participate in that show. Like Ron said, there might be a surprise added to it. If you can figure out someone who's been hacking the page lately, I guess. If you can figure that out, be my guest. So stay tuned for that one. That could get interesting. And
Oh
then
yeah.
Friday night this week, we'll be back for Friday night movie night. I know I took off last Friday night. I had something come up I needed to take care of. This Friday night, we will be starting at 8 p.m. instead of a normal 9 o'clock start because I have to pick Mr. Sam Simmons up from the airport Friday night. That's going to be quite interesting. I got to go drive over to the city the same night that the Phillies are having their fireworks. Oh, shit. But we have a wide plethora of shows. And as we always say, these shows run off the people in the chat. Even if you just stop in, say hi, like Prince did tonight, or drop a share bomb like he does every single time he pops in, which is always appreciated. Um, this show goes off the chat. I mean, we feed off you guys. If there's a topic you guys ever want to discuss, you're more than welcome to always bring it up. If you just want to pop in, say hi, we appreciate it. It means a lot to us as well. I'll let you say top off that real quick as I do some math in my head. So go ahead.
Yeah. So I mean, definitely what John says. I just want to back it up and say, you know, we're here for your entertainment. I mean, given we have a tendency to entertain ourselves sometimes, but that's okay too. I always say, my humor personally is for me, and if anybody else happens to laugh, then that's a bonus.
Yeah.
So kind of goes the same way with the chat. I mean, we're we love it when you guys participate. We're always open to ideas. We're always can do our best to share whatever we have to add to anything that you guys add in the chat. So it becomes a group effort, and that's what this channel's all about, all the way across the board. We couldn't do it without your participation and your support. We appreciate it, and we'll keep on doing what we're doing as long as you guys are with us along the way. Because when it gets down to the bottom line, it's all about you guys.
Yeah. And the number I was looking for is the number 68. We gained another follower there on Facebook. That brings us up to 382. I had said if we hit 450 by August 1st, I will be doing a giveaway for a $50 Amazon gift card to show appreciation and say thank you to those who take their time out of their day to follow us, support us on this incredible journey. Because believe it or not, we're about 8 weeks away from 1 year being alive. August 15th is the 1 year anniversary since we hit that live button for the first time, and to see where this page has grown since then is absolutely incredible. So I can't thank everybody enough for the support, the love. I mean, just 68 is the number that we're looking for. We're at 382, so we need to hit 450 by August 1st. So,
which is only 14 a week.
yeah, I mean, I think we can do it. So
we count on everybody to help us share it out. Hit those likes, hit those follows, especially on Facebook, so we can get to the number.
Yeah, but that's pretty much all I got for tonight. I don't know if Ron has anything else that he wants to add. We had an appearance by Mr. Curtis, which is always great to see in chat. Jax dropped a hello. We had Prince drop in with a hello and a nice share bomb. Always appreciate the share bomb, Prince. Thank you very much. Gary popped in saying hello. I mean, we get it. Sports is everybody's favorite topic. So if there's something we can change, or like they always say, bring the brighter side of sports around, let us know. I mean, once football season comes, there'll be a lot more to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely. And as the baseball season gets further along as well. Real quick question. Needs your prediction.
Okay.
This weekend is Money in the Bank. Who wins men's and who wins the women's?
Well, first off, I don't know who's even in the women's match.
Okay.
Hang
on, I can get that information while you talk about the men's.
the men's is I really think that you and Trey were right. I think they're really gonna push LA Knight. I mean, this guy is cutting some mean promos lately. Unless they have Drew McIntyre come back somehow, because they said he might be back by this weekend for Money in the Bank. So if they don't push LA Knight, they may be surprised everybody and have Drew McIntyre win it. So
Or here's just another thing to kind of throw in there.
okay,
We both agreed that there was kind of somebody in that match that, probably doesn't belong in there. So what if somebody like, say, Solo assaults somebody backstage and then inserts himself in the match?
definitely. I mean, it would be a good twist, but you can't show Solo attacking that person.
Right.
You would have to keep it like that hidden assassin that you had in years past. And then if that's the case, you could really do a good twist with the main event because you have Roman and Solo versus Jimmy and Jay, and the Bloodline Civil War to go on it. So
Okay, well, here's the men's list right now. This is who's in the match.
okay,
Ricochet, Shinsuke Nakamura, Damian Priest, LA Knight, Santos Escobar, Butch. And they've added another person to the match. Logan Paul.
really,
Yes.
how the hell did Logan Paul get added to the match and why?
Logan Paul got added into the match.
Okay.
So, knowing how Triple H feels about Logan Paul, is there a
Oh
chance that they could
no,
swerve and give it to Logan Paul?
I hope not.
He did
Unless
just sign an extension.
the only way I could see they letting someone like Logan Paul win it is if they put in that new rule where you don't have to just go for the heavyweight championship. You can
You can
go
go
for
for
a
any
lesser,
title.
go for any title. If that's the case, then I could see them possibly setting up like a Logan Paul Austin Theory type story.
Right, because right now you're thinking that, at some point Cody's got to get the belt. And Roman's looking to take some time off.
Yeah.
So who knows? Okay, so here's the ladies list.
Okay.
Becky Lynch, Zoe Stark, Trish Stratus, Raquel Rodriguez, Zelina Vega, Bailey or Shotzi, and Io Sky.
Damn. You got a lot of stories in that match.
Yep.
I think Becky, Zoe, and Trish all cancel each other out. Um, I don't. I see Bailey and Io getting into it to prevent one of them two from winning it.
Yep.
I did
I
that. I gotta go Raquel Rodriguez.
I I would that would be the logical choice, but for some reason I'm just thinking that I'm leaning towards Becky.
Okay. I mean, I just think they're not done with the story with Trish and Becky yet.
Yeah.
I think that comes to a conclusion at SummerSlam,
Okay.
and then you can put Becky or Trish back into that title picture. But
Yeah.
for immediate right away, I think they push Raquel.
Yeah. I mean that makes the most sense. I mean she is a really really accomplished wrestler.
Yeah, unless Bailey's 100% back from that ACL, which I don't think she is.
No, I don't think so.
Unless she's 100%, and then you could push Bailey to be back in that singles talk.
Yeah.
Maybe Bailey as a surprise.
Yeah. Well, who knows? Wouldn't be the first surprise in the Money in the Bank match.
No, I mean, I like the Solo theory because you think about it, Jimmy and Jay versus Roman and Solo in that tag team match. Jimmy and Jay win. Roman's knocked out. Lights go out, and then all of a sudden you have Solo with the briefcase in his hand. Talk about an ultimate cash in.
Cashing in on Roman.
Oh shit, that would be nuts. And that would actually be kind of
Could
cool
you
to see.
imagine the pop for that?
Oh my, it'd be huge.
It'd blow the
It,
roof off the place.
it would be absolutely mind blowing. It would be epic. Is a good
Yep.
way to put it.
Yep.
The fact, because then you can set up Roman versus Solo for SummerSlam.
Yep.
And that's where you might see the Rock make a guest appearance or something like that come back for that. Because there's talks that they're going to bring in more of this member of the family to try to reform it. But in whose corner? Are they going to be back in Roman or are they going to be back in Jimmy and Jay?
Yeah. Yep.
So, I mean, only time will tell with that type of thing. It's going to be interesting, to say the least.
So I just wanted to throw that in there just because I knew it was coming up.
Yes, that is on Saturday, I believe.
Saturday, correct.
So, I mean, yeah.
From London, England.
Yep. That is very true. But we were left a message. So, as I'm signing off, I'm going to run the message that we have been left and then run the outro.
Okay.
Because something just popped up I got to plug in.
Okay.
So, but other than that, I hope everyone enjoyed the show tonight. I know it's on the lesser side tonight. It's only 90 minutes compared to 2 hours like we do. But you got 4 more opportunities this week to hop in, hang out with us. Like I said, pop in tomorrow night, show Shannon and Morgan support. They're going to do a kick-ass job on Tuesday night. I know they will. Wednesday night, you'll have Miss Vanna White, a.k.a. me, assisting Ron with his trivia. And Mr. Google, if he's around, he'll be in chat probably. Thursday night, we have open mic night. With who knows what's going to happen on that night. And then Friday night, movie night this week. I mean, we could go back to movie soundtracks. That was fun.
Yeah. Yeah, it was.
I mean, I was left a comment on the YouTube after that. A guy had mentioned a couple of soundtracks that we forgot.
Yeah.
So maybe we can revisit that Friday night and go over that list off his comment and see what that happened. So
Sure. Awesome. We could do that.
all right,
I know that everybody, the chat was hopping that night.
Yeah. So yeah, and then eventually I'll have Sam on for Friday night. If I ever watched the first 3 John Wick movies, I keep putting it off, but that will happen. And then Sam said he'll join us for that one too.
Okay, cool.
But other than that, hope everyone has a good night and see you tomorrow night.
Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.